Well, good day today. I am so excited to talk about a subject that I thought I wouldn't be talking about, but it's come up so much lately in my life, in the businesses and clients I'm working with, and I wanted to share it with you because it's so freaking profound. It's so like massive, but yet so simple. So I'm going to take you back many years. I'm going to take you back like 50 years. Okay, so 48, something like that years. And my stepfather that raised me, a lot of you know the story of my stepfather, a wonderful man, just didn't really understand or really didn't know how to properly provide love. Let's just call it that. Let's just call it that. And so one of the things he was really good about doing is we always were assigned chores. We always were assigned things when we were bad, which it seemed like every single day we were we were bad. And it's one of those things that, hey, growing up as a kid, apparently I could do no right. And so I always found myself doing chores. Like whether it was cleaning my room, it was rearranging garages, it was being in early, cooking dinner, cleaning dishes, doing something. I was always doing chores, but one of the chores I despised, I truly, truly despised growing up as a kid was pulling weeds. See, we lived on this acreage in California, out in the country, and all we had around us were um, big, huge eucalyptus trees, which always had the leaves falling down. They were always everywhere, but the most beautiful smelling leaf, I believe, anywhere. And then we had a lot of rained a lot in California, and it we had a lot of grass and we had a lot of stuff. And one of the things we had so much of, it just like a never-ending thing. And I think, God was just kind of telling me, you're going to become a professional weed puller. And every time I got in trouble, it seemed like I was always told to go outside and pull these weeds, pull these weeds, pull these weeds, pull these weeds. And every time I pulled weeds, sometimes I had gloves on, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I was protected, and most of the time I wasn't. I was just mad, upset, and I'd go out there and I'd start pulling these weeds, and I just was. It was a nonstop removal of weeds, removal of weeds. I'd get cuts on my fingers from not having gloves. I had calluses as a kid. I had calluses on my hand from doing all the manual stuff that I was supposed to be doing around the house. And so I was always pulling weeds, pulling weeds, pulling weeds, pulling weeds, pulling weeds, pulling weeds. And at the time, every time, this person would say, hey, get outside and pull weeds, it registered as something very, very bad for me, very, very uncomfortable for me. And because it seemed like it was never ending. I associated pulling that weed with something bad. I wasn't doing something right. I wasn't good enough. I was a mistake. I was, worthless. All these wonderful things, right? That you don't want to be as a kid. But I went out and I started pulling all these weeds. Well, fast forward, to maybe 15 years ago, when I really start gotten receiving this idea of becoming a better version of myself. And I went out there and I started doing some really interesting things, discovering, how to find happiness in my life, how to find health, how to find joy, how to find security, how to find abundance, all these things. So let's say last 15, 20 years, I've been really in that space. And a lot of you have been tracking me, on social media about, my journey, which my journey is never ending, right? I'm never going to arrive. I'm always going to be on a journey. And I want you to be on a journey as well. So here I am later in life. And what's crazy, I talk a lot about the idea of plucking things from your life that no longer serve you, removing things from your life that no longer serve you. We're getting rid of things, getting rid of trash in your life or things in your life that don't make you feel good, right? And then replacing it with something new. Because when you pull out something, you remove something, you create space. You create an opportunity for something to grow. And it's crazy when I would pull that weed, not thinking at the time, associating that weed with something bad. What I was doing, I was allowing something to grow, whether it was something inside of me growing, whether it was something, coming from the earth that was growing. Pulling that weed was a really interesting metaphor for life, is we kind of remove something, remove something, creating space for something to allow something to grow, something beautiful to maybe come up, break through the surface. And that's kind of what I really talk about now with people that I work with and things that I teach is I really want people to go through a life, removing all those things that are what I like to call a frequency that doesn't serve you anymore, removing all of those things, plucking them, pulling them, extracting them, removing them from your life, And so now you have a clean slate that you can operate from. And then in that space now that you've created, that space, then something can flourish, something can grow, something can thrive, something can pop through the surface. And that's what I want for all of you to experience in your life is this constant plucking and removing and pulling of these weeds and anything that's an eyesore around you. So if you look around your house, if you look around, your environment, anything that's an eyesore, anything doesn't feel joyful and happy and blissful, then remove it. Put it somewhere else so that you can't see it. A lot of people have relationships that they were, that they're not. I don't know, there's a person, maybe it's a family member that you've got a picture of that family member, in your kitchen. And every time you have a feeling of that family member, you have this really weird taste in your mouth or this feeling of like uneasiness. Why do we have the picture right there where we can see it every day? So what I'm asking you to do is to pluck that weed, remove that, right? And make everything in your environment something that's pleasing to the senses, creating space, creating space, creating space, creating space, creating space, creating space. And it's crazy. The more plucking that you do in your life for things that no longer serve you, or you start to pull these things, you're going, my gosh, what was I holding on to that for so long for? Like, why am I holding on to that feeling or that person or that memory or that situation? Why am I doing it? This is your opportunity to pull some weeds in your life, right? Especially now with everything we've been going through and everything that we're going to continue to go through as a society, as a community, as a country, as a world. It's more important now that you really start to pluck and remove those things that no longer serve you. No one cares anymore, except for you. Like, no one cares if you remove that weed or remove that person or remove that thing that no longer serves you. It's like there's going to come a time in your life where you just don't care. You don't care what people think. You don't care about holding on to that memory or that feeling or that emotion or that trauma or that event. Because there's going to come a time where you just don't care anymore. And this is the time you need to get out into your garden and you start pulling weeds. You start pulling these weeds, pulling and pulling. You do it with a smile on your face saying, see ya, bye-bye, no longer serving me, don't need you around. And you start going through your life and doing it in all areas of your life. You start with you first. You first. What is it about you that needs plucking? What is it about you that you need to remove? Is it the thought? Is it the feeling? Is it your belief system? Is it the culture that you're in? Is it your environment? Do you need to remove you from the environment that you're in? I don't know what that is for you. But what is it about you that you need to start removing things, right, that no longer serve you? Creating space for something beautiful, creating space for something amazing to pop through the surface that you were not even aware of, that's been buried year after year after year after year, decade after decade after decade, generation after generation after generation after generation, buried deep within you. This is your time to do it. Now's the best time to do it. And you do it with a smile. You do it coming from a loving place, a place of honoring yourself. And you keep plucking, you keep pulling these weeds out of your life. You look in your refrigerator, open up your refrigerator. What in your refrigerator no longer serves you? Look at it. You know what no longer serves you. If it doesn't make you feel great and amazing, get rid of it with a smile on your face. Create space for something else to be put in that refrigerator. What is it in your social media? What is it with your friends? What are the friends that you need to remove, right? At least for a season, at least for a season, as the weather shifted in your life, the weather's changed in your life, at least pull that weed now. The sun's coming out, spring's upon us, summer's going to be here. In fact, it might be summer already where you're at. I don't know. But everything is shifting, so shift with it. Remove all these weeds in your life. Do this. And when you do this, you're going to start to find and feel an energy, feel a vibration, a frequency that is just so powerful and so beautiful, which is what you are. Pluck those weeds. Pluck those weeds, pull those weeds, create space, get that dirt nice and smooth again. Allow something to happen. And in that, and as you continue to grow, as the weather continues to shift, as you continue to shift, you'll see something come up through the surface. That something's going to be beautiful. I can assure you it's going to be more beautiful than that weed that was there. I can assure you. And it's going to take some time. Some of you have a lot of weeds in your garden. You have a lot of stuff in your garden. Crazy, crazy things that you just, for whatever reason, want to keep in that garden. Yeah, but this was handed down from, this was something that was given to me. But I, if you do not feel radiant peace and harmony and joy when you feel this or see this or experience this, you might want to consider plucking that from your garden. And that's what I want from you. I want you to pluck all those things. And doing so, you'll start to feel rejuvenated. You'll start to feel cleansed. You'll start to feel this detoxification happening. And in that growth that you're starting to feel, that frequency you're starting to feel, all of a sudden something will sprout up into your life. I don't know what it is. It might be the job that you're looking for, might be the relationship that you're looking for, the connection that you need with that thing to lead you to something. I don't know what that is, but it's not going to present itself when your garden is full of weeds. And that garden is everything around you, including you, everything around you, including you. So, my message for you today is to pluck and pull and extract and remove and get rid of and clean up that garden. Clean up that garden. And it starts with you. I know you're saying, yeah, Tony, it's going to be difficult. I've tried it before. How do I start? I don't know. If you have any questions about any of this, you guys, this is what I've been doing for decades, generations, who knows? But if you have any thoughts or feelings or how to get started, just reach out to me. All right. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of me. You guys know how to do that. But just you've got to start. And there's never been a better time than now to start, to let go of what was and to focus in on what is. Don't worry about what's coming. Just focus in on what is. And right now, y'all need to pull some weeds. Pull some weeds. Be patient. Allow whatever is underneath the surface to grow. And when it grows, you're going to sit back and go, my gosh, what was I thinking? Holding on to that for so long. Why didn't I just do that before? And in that, you start to develop the habits. And in that, you start to develop the excitement about changing and pulling and extracting and having a nice, clean, beautiful garden that you can wake up every morning going, oh, look at that over there. Look at that over there. Look at that over there. Wow, look at all of this. You got to pull the weeds, get that stuff out of the garden. All right, you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. Share this with someone today. Share this with someone today. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my Facebook. Whatever you're seeing this at, just subscribe. I'm going to be sending these things every single day or daily. I'm going to send little messages out to you guys to keep you in the frequency. If you have any questions, as always, reach out. Be good human beings today. All right? Go pull some weeds. Talk to you guys soon.